The adopted child. In a small, vibrant town in China, the Chong family lived a life that many would call idyllic. Janet and Charles, warm-hearted and kind, adored their daughter Jia. Every morning began with shared smiles and gentle words, and every night ended with bedtime stories that filled their humble home with laughter and love. Jia, in particular, reveled in the attention of her devoted parents, basking in the glow of their endless affection. One crisp morning, however, everything shifted. As the first light of dawn filtered through the window, Jia awoke to an unfamiliar sight. Her parents returned home carrying a tiny, wide-eyed toddler boy. His name was James, and with his soft giggles and curious glances, he brought a sudden whirlwind of change into their perfect routine. First, the novelty of having a new brother stirred excitement in the air. But as the days passed, Jia began to notice subtle shifts in the family dynamics. Janet and Charles, eager to care for the needs of their new son, started showering James with extra cuddles, playful coos, and constant attention. Where Jia once felt like the center of their universe, she now watched from the sidelines as every smile and every gentle word was directed toward her new little brother. Late at night, when the house finally fell silent, Jia would lie awake in her bed, tears quietly streaming down her face. "What? Am I not good enough for you guys?" she whispered into the darkness, her heart heavy with confusion and sorrow. The refrain, "Why him and not me?" echoed through her thoughts, growing louder with every passing night. Unable to contain her anguish any longer, one evening Jia mustered the courage to confront her parents. With trembling words and tear-stained cheeks, she asked, "Why do you give James more attention than me?" Janet knelt beside her, wrapping her in a tender embrace, and gently explained, "Oh, honey, James is younger and needs more attention than you. But don't worry, we still love you." Charles echoed the sentiment with a warm smile. Yet, despite their reassurances, Gia's heart remained heavy. The explanation felt hollow to her, and she couldn't shake the feeling that her love was somehow being divided. In that moment, the once solid foundation of her family life seemed fragile and uncertain. As days turned into weeks, Gia's sorrow lingered, a quiet reminder of how change can sometimes bring unexpected pain. Though Janet and Charles continued to shower both their children with love, Gia found herself struggling to believe in a love that now felt uneven and elusive. The delicate balance of the Chong family had been disrupted, leaving Jia to wonder if her place in their hearts would ever be whole again. And so, Jia's story became a bittersweet journey of love and longing, a quiet testament to the challenges of adapting to change and finding reassurance in a shifting world. As weeks turned into months, Jia's sorrow deepened into a quiet solitude that filled the spaces once bright with her laughter. Every morning, as the sun peeked through the paper windows of their modest home in China, Jia sat at the edge of the bed, watching her parents lovingly fuss over little James. Tender coos and soft lullabies that once belonged solely to her now seemed meant for someone else. Jia tried to cling to the memories of happier times, the secret giggles shared over breakfast, the warm embraces after long days at school, but they felt like distant echoes. School, while classmates chattered about family reunions and shared moments of joy, Jia's smile was tinged with a melancholy that she couldn't quite hide. When she returned home, the familiar sounds of James' playful babble and her parents' animated voices only magnified the emptiness in her heart. One gray afternoon, unable to bear the heavy silence any longer, Jia wandered into the small garden behind their house. The garden was a quiet sanctuary, filled with the rustling of bamboo leaves and the soft scent of jasmine. Here, she clutched an old, worn notebook, her secret journal, and poured her heart onto the pages. Each word was a silent plea. Why must I feel so invisible? Why isn't my laughter enough? Cool breeze offered little comfort as it danced around her, echoing her inner turmoil. At dinner, the household buzzed with the happy chaos of a family in motion. Janet and Charles exchanged warm smiles with James, delighting in his every coo and mischievous giggle, while Jia sat quietly at the corner of the table. The conversation, though filled with familial love, only served as a painful reminder of the growing distance between her and her parents. Desperation tugged at her heart each time she listened to their soothing words, James needs more attention now. Words that, however gentle, deepened the ache of feeling forgotten. That night, as Jia lay in bed under the dim light of a single lamp, she whispered into the dark, "I wish I could be enough." The words faded into the silence, leaving her with a heavy uncertainty about her place in the world, a lingering question that haunted her dreams. Yet even in her solitude, a tiny ember of hope flickered. Somewhere deep within, Jia wondered if the tide might one day turn, if she could find a way to bridge the chasm that had grown between her and her family. Until then, she resolved to hold on to her own light, even if it was dim, and to keep searching for the warmth and acceptance she so desperately longed for. One cool autumn evening, after another day filled with hushed whispers and quiet tears, Jia's heart finally overflowed. That night, as the family gathered in the living room with little James in his cradle, Jia mustered the courage to speak. "Why do I feel invisible in our home?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The silence that followed was heavy with unspoken truths. Janet and Charles exchanged glances and slowly approached her. In that tender moment, they realized how their well-intended actions had left Jia feeling forgotten. Janet reached out, taking Jia's hand in hers. "I'm so sorry, Jia," she said softly, her voice thick with regret. "We never meant to make you feel unloved. We were so caught up in caring for James that we forgot you too." Charles added, "You mean the world to us, Jia. We promise to do better, to give you the attention you deserve." Their words, earnest and remorseful, marked the beginning of change. Over the following days, the Chang's family began a slow, heartfelt healing process. They created new family routines that honored both Jia and James, quiet afternoons of one-on-one time with each child, shared family outings, and nightly moments where every heart was heard. Although Jia's sadness did not vanish overnight, she gradually began to see that love was not a limited resource, but something that could expand to embrace them all. In time, the delicate balance of the family was restored. While the scars of those early days remained as a gentle reminder, they also became the foundation for deeper understanding and renewed bonds. As the moon rose on a peaceful evening, the Chang's family sat together on their porch, sharing stories and dreams. In that warm glow, Jia finally felt seen and cherished, confident that her parents' love was vast enough to include both her and little James. And so, amid the gentle whispers of the night, the family embarked on a new chapter, a testament to forgiveness, understanding, and the unbreakable power of love. The end.